We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Scherer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
So the advice that you would have, if you've actually purchased a property in the last 18 months, I think you need to really take a hard look at where you're at, what your rate is, and having you, Rick, take a look at that individual's financial picture, if you will.
Right.
That doesn't cost anything.
No, it doesn't. And quite frankly, over this last week, we took about $4 million worth of business in on refinance, and that's maybe 15 loans, and those are 15 people that are saving over $100 or more at no closing costs. So, and again, what I did is I went back to all my past clients the last 18 months, and I just said, hey, you're here, and here's where we can go. And actually, quite a few of them decided to go to a 25-year or a 20-year mortgage, paying a little bit more, but not that much, to save thousands of dollars off of it.
I also own a luxury real estate magazine called Distinctive Homes of New England, and I bought it right in 2007, right before the market crashed. And
Timing was perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect. So everything I bought went away, and I called the next 3 years my character building years because I basically had no business, and I had to get out there and figure out how I was going to save this magazine. So we did a lot. We brought it online, but I went out and I spoke with a lot of real estate agents and just tried to help them in their business because, frankly, I had no business and I had nothing else to do.
Right. Sure.
So in the meantime, because I had all this extra time, I had decided to have a fundraiser at my house, and 3 rock stars showed up to my house. I had Pink's drummer and bassist and Def Leppard's guitarist come to my backyard. And Pink's drummer actually said to me, I'm looking to market myself and I really need some help. And I said, well, I think that you need a publicist because, unless you want to give me $65 million to market you,
right.
I think you have a great story and you could use a publicist. And I can't do that. I'm not a publicist. I own this magazine. So, and he said, well, I want you to do it. I think you can do it. And I think you should create a company and I'll be your first client. And, how do you say no to that? So I created...
You can't say no to that.
You can't say no. So I created this name, Expose Yourself PR, thinking I would work with one rock star only. And then, 6 months later, I found myself at a boardroom in Harvard with a bunch of centurions who were not really that impressed with the name of my company. But you know what? Either you like it or you don't. You either appreciate it or you don't.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that you offer as far as PR services?
Yeah. Real estate is where our heart is because I have the connections to real estate. But we have all kinds of clients. We have, local dentists. And if you have a product, we do a really good job with getting products in the hands of celebrities. We've been in the Emmy gift bags and the Oscar gift bags and in People magazine. So it's really about telling our clients' story and selling them to the media. Telling the media why our clients are so wonderful and why they should cover them so that they can get a little free press.
It's really about creating the experience from the first meeting until the closing and then the follow-up for years to come.
Wonderful.
Because you're not my client today, you're my client forever. And I never want to lose you as a client.
Now, you live in Andover.
I do.
And your company is in Andover.
It is.
But you call yourself a virtual agent. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, Ali, up until the internet started, we were actually, the realtors were the gatekeepers. If you remember those MLS books,
right.
Every week we'd get one that were outdated by the time you received one.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. People are very educated about the market, all the TV shows, HGTV.
Right.
And so we're dealing with an educated consumer, which I love. It makes my job a lot easier, and I can focus and get right to the point about providing the knowledge for the marketplace that they're interested in.
Sure.
With that information, I don't have to stay in my marketplace where I live and where my office is. I can go anywhere. I have clients that will, I just had one that brought me to Maine. I'm licensed in Mass and New Hampshire and Michigan, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
But I had a client bring me to Maine. I've bought and sold many homes with him, but he wanted me there. So I connected with one of my connections in Maine and kind of worked through his license.
That's
great. Wonderful. I mean, that speaks volumes about the level of trust and investment that you put in each and every client.
Absolutely.
And that's awesome.
So tell us a little bit about the difference between staging and interior decorating. Is there a difference?
There's a big difference. Staging is editing a property, taking the items out that you're not using every day. If you're selling your property in the wintertime, like Lillian will discuss, you're not going to leave your swimming pool open. And it's also, you're editing. You're also creating universal appeal. If you have custom window treatments, they're custom to you, but not to the buyer. So we want to eliminate distractions and highlight the advantages and features of the home.
When you were a real estate agent, what sort of turned you on to the whole staging thing? Didn't you have a challenge that you were faced with?
Just a little one. It was about 30 feet long and about 55 feet wide. My homeowner, my first listing, had an airplane in his basement. And he said, if you can figure out how to get that airplane out of the basement, you can have the listing. And they had interviewed other realtors and given the same challenge to them. So it was like, you know what? This is actually a game changer. Let's work it. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So I contacted the local technical high school, which had a welding shop. And I invited them to come in and separate the pieces of the airplane. Now, the airplane was in big pieces, so they had to be broken down.
Sure.
Then I contacted the local flight school and flight repair shop over at Hanscom Air Force Base. And I asked them if they would be interested in these pieces. They were very interested. So we put everything together, got the airplane out of the basement. The wife was ecstatic. She almost didn't want to move now.
Right.
Of course she was ecstatic.
She was moving to get away from the airplane.
Yes, absolutely. And got the listing. And the really great part about it, too, is that the property abutted the gun club. And the person who bought the property belonged to the NRA. So,
wow.
Done.
It's
Win.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.